Your life will never change if you keep waiting for the right moment. You've spent too much time hoping things will get easier, wishing someone would hand you a sign, or believing that tomorrow will magically be better. Every day you hesitate, every day you tell yourself, I'll start soon, you're giving up a part of your future. The truth is simple. Nothing changes until you decide it matters enough to act. You can feel it right now, the pull inside you that knows you're capable of more. You know, there's a life waiting for you that's bigger, stronger, and more fulfilling than what you're living today. But that life will never arrive unless you get serious about it. There is a fire inside everyone who wants change, but fire doesn't light itself. It needs attention, it needs care, it needs commitment. And the moment you choose to stop standing still, the moment you refuse to settle for excuses, that fire becomes the force that drives you forward. Every choice, every habit, every action begins to stack in your favor. Your potential doesn't wait for comfort. Your future doesn't wait for approval. Your success doesn't wait for someone to hand it to you. It waits for you to step up, focus, and decide that today, right now, you will move toward it. This is the moment where everything begins. Not tomorrow, not someday, but today. You're about to hear truths that will challenge the way you think, shake the habits you've been holding on to, and inspire you to take control of your life in a way that no one else can do for you. If you take this seriously, if you allow these words to sink in, the person you become in the next weeks and months will be stronger, sharper, and closer to the life you've been dreaming of than ever before. Change starts with a decision. That decision starts with you, and it starts now. Part 1, discipline, the bridge between goals and accomplishment. There comes a moment when a person looks at their life and feels a quiet pull inside, a pull that says things could be better, things could be stronger, things could be different, but only if they stop brushing aside the choices that shape every single day. That pull doesn't arrive with noise or celebration. It arrives in a calm moment when you realize that the gap between what you want and what you live is held together by the habits you allow. Not by luck, not by chance, only by the decisions you make when no one is watching. Many people wait for a sign, or they hope someone will appear with the answer, but life doesn't rearrange itself for someone who isn't willing to become serious about their own direction. Change begins the moment you take yourself seriously enough to stop drifting and start deciding. Discipline is not an extreme idea. It's simply the daily proof that you are willing to honor the goals you say you want. Every person has a dream tucked somewhere inside, something that sparks their interest or pulls at their heart. But the world doesn't reward the dream. The world rewards the effort. The world responds to the person who shows up even on the plain days, even on the slow mornings, even when excitement is nowhere to be found. Discipline is the steady friend that stays when motivation walks away. Motivation is loud, but it fades. So is discipline stays in the background, waiting for you to pick it up each morning and use it as the tool that builds your life. Some people imagine that discipline means a life without comfort or joy, but it's the opposite. Discipline builds the kind of life that feels stable, peaceful, and worthwhile because you know you didn't just drift into it, you earned it by choosing better days over easier days. When you sit alone with your thoughts and you feel the weight of the things you haven't started, the things you've delayed, the things you promised yourself you would do but still haven't touched, that feeling is your reminder that you can't keep treating your goals as side notes. A goal becomes real only when you decide to support it with action. Without discipline, a goal stays a wish. With discipline, a goal turns into a step-by-step path you can actually walk. Every morning, someone wakes up and decides this is the day they take themselves seriously for the first time. They clean up their schedule, They cut back on the distractions that steal their attention, and they stop waiting for. They discover something powerful. Improvement begins the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses. Excuses feel comforting for a moment, but they come with a long-term cost. They steal days, they steal energy, they steal potential. Discipline returns it all to you because it gives you control over your time again. When you know where your time is going, you start feeling more capable, more focused, and more confident in your direction. There is a quiet strength that grows inside a person who follows through on their own word. It changes the way you stand. It changes the way you speak. It changes the way you look at yourself. Every small promise you keep becomes another layer of trust you build with yourself. When you trust yourself, your life opens in ways that surprise you. Opportunities that once felt too far now feel reachable because you know you have the habits to support them. People around you notice the difference. They see that you're no longer pushed around by moods or delays. They feel the firmness in your decisions. They see that you've stopped treating your life like a hobby and started treating it like something worth protecting. That shift doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens in the simple, everyday actions you choose. Waking up a little earlier to make room for what matters. Saying no to the things that drain your time. Giving your tasks the attention they deserve instead of rushing through them. Choosing focus over comfort. Choosing progress over distraction. Discipline is built through those kinds of choices, not grand achievements. It grows quietly, and before you realize it, you look around and see that your days feel stronger, your goals feel clearer, and your future feels more within reach than it ever did before. The truth is, life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. If you wait for the perfect moment, you might wait for years and still end up standing in the same place. Progress doesn't come to people who wait. It comes to people who act even when they feel uncertain. Action brings clarity. Discipline fuels that action. And once you take the first step, the next step becomes easier. Then the next. Until the path that once felt complicated becomes something you can handle with confidence. Every person has the ability to change their life, but not everyone chooses to. Some people spend years avoiding the work that would free them. Others decide that their future is worth more than their comfort. You decide which one you become. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about staying consistent enough to create a life that reflects your choices instead of your excuses. When you choose discipline, you choose a future where you're not haunted by what you could have done. You choose a life where you feel proud of the effort you gave. You choose days filled with purpose instead of regret. If you can stand in front of your own life and say, you're ready to be serious about where you're going, then discipline becomes the key that opens everything you've been hoping for. It won't always feel exciting. It won't always feel easy, but it will always feel worth it. And as you move through your days with more intention, more honesty, and more steady effort, you'll start to feel a shift inside. A calm confidence, a quiet strength, a sense of control over your own direction. That feeling doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. It comes from discipline. And once you choose it, everything in your life begins to rise. Part 2. Raise your standards and transform your life. There comes a time when a person realizes that the standards they hold for themselves decide the quality of their life far more than any outside problem or distraction ever could. When you raise what you accept from yourself, everything shifts. You start noticing the small corners you used to cut, the places where you settled, the patterns you repeated because they were easy, and the choices you brushed off because you thought they didn't matter. But every choice piles up. Every choice writes a part of your story. And the day you decide you want a stronger story, a cleaner story, a story you're proud of, you start by raising the way you deal with yourself. A higher standard doesn't come from trying to impress anyone. It comes from the quiet decision that you want a life that feels honest, responsible, and controlled. You want to be able to look at your actions without explaining them away. You want your behavior to match your goals. When you raise your standards, you stop chasing the approval of others and start building a life that reflects your own expectations. You stop depending on someone else to push you. You start demanding more from your own effort, your own focus, and your own daily decisions. So people often imagine that raising their standards means forcing themselves into stress, but the truth is that low standards create far more frustration. Low standards keep you surrounded by problems that never end. Low standards keep you stuck in habits that drain your time and energy. Low standards fill your life with moments where you feel you could have done more but chose not to. When you raise your standards, you reduce stress because you remove the behavior that creates chaos in the first place. You stop letting yourself drift into old habits that steal your progress. You start taking your time seriously. You begin acting in a way that supports the life you claim to want. It's easy to stay in patterns that feel familiar. It's easy to accept average effort because average effort doesn't require much thought. But average effort doesn't build a strong future. It doesn't change your confidence. It doesn't give you that steady sense of pride that comes from knowing you're showing up the way you should. Higher standard means you stop expecting life to do the work for you and your optimum sense. You stop thinking someday will magically fix your situation. You stop settling for the version of yourself that only gives half of what you're capable of. You begin to understand that the future you want demands a better version of you right now, not tomorrow, not next year, not when it feels convenient. When you hold yourself to a higher standard, the world reacts differently. People treat you with more respect because they can see you carry yourself with self-respect. They watch the way you follow through. They notice how you stay steady no matter who is watching. They can feel your seriousness. This doesn't mean trying to look perfect. It means living in a way where your behavior matches your words. When your standards rise, your habits rise. When your habits rise, your results rise. It becomes a natural chain reaction that starts inside you and spreads through every part of your life. The real change begins the moment you refuse to accept excuses from yourself. Excuses are easy to build, but they don't protect you from the truth. The truth is that you can do more when you stop lowering your expectations. You can show up stronger. You can manage your time better. You can push past the moods that used to stop you. You can treat your days like they matter because they do. Every day you raise your standards, you reinforce the message that your life means something. You begin to feel more awake, more capable, more connected to your goals. You start noticing the kind of conversations you allow. You pay attention to the environments you tolerate. You become aware of the way you speak to yourself. A raised standard transforms all of these things because you're no longer satisfied with the level of thinking that kept you stuck. You no longer accept carelessness. You refuse to entertain things that waste your time. You feel a natural pull toward improvement because your mind starts craving better behavior instead of easy behavior. This shift creates something powerful inside you. Each time you follow through on a higher standard, your confidence grows. Not the loud kind of confidence that comes from showing off, but the quiet kind that builds from knowing you handled your responsibilities. You know you didn't settle. You know you didn't take the easy exit. You know you didn't let yourself slide back into old habits. That kind of confidence stays with you even on the days when you feel tired or uncertain because it's grounded in real effort, not temporary emotion. Raising your standards doesn't mean living a harsh or rigid life. It means deciding that your behavior deserves to support your goals, not undermine them. It means giving yourself the kind of structure that frees you instead of traps you. Structure doesn't restrict you. It protects you from drifting into a life that doesn't match who you want to become. When you raise your standards, you create boundaries that keep your future safe. You stop allowing distractions to take over. You stop tolerating habits that hurt your progress. You start building days that move you forward. The good thing about raising your standards is that you don't need to announce it. You don't need to explain it. You simply begin living in a way that reflects it. People will notice on their own. Your behavior will speak louder than any explanation. You'll start feeling a sense of clarity you didn't have before. You'll feel more calm because you know you're giving your best. You'll feel more focused because you no longer let everything pull you off track. You'll feel more prepared for opportunities because you've built habits that support them. Every strong life starts with a decision to expect more from yourself. Not in a punishing way, but in a way that honors your potential. When you raise your standards, you lift your entire life with them. Your direction sharpens. Your choices improve. Your environment shifts. Your sense of purpose deepens. And little by little, you transform into someone who no longer doubts their ability to create the future they want. That kind of transformation doesn't arrive overnight. It's built through steady days, honest choices, and the courage to expect more from yourself than you ever have before. Part 3, become the person your dreams require. There is a moment in life when a person starts to see that their dreams are not just ideas floating in the distance. Those dreams they demand a certain version of you, a version that may not exist yet, but can be built through steady growth and honest self-reflection. Too many people want the reward without becoming the kind of person who can handle it. They want the success, but avoid the development that allows them to hold it. A dream is not just something you chase, it's something you rise into. And the person you become is what determines whether that dream becomes real or slips away. Every dream places a responsibility on your shoulders. A bigger life needs a stronger mindset. A better future needs better habits. A meaningful goal needs a person who has learned to manage their thoughts, their reactions, their time, and their daily behavior. When you look at the dream you say you want, you should also ask yourself who you need to be in order to live it without fear, without doubt, and without hiding behind excuses. A dream will never shrink itself to match you. You must grow to match it. That growth begins with being honest about where you stand right now. Not in a harsh or shameful way, but in a clear way. You look at your strengths and you appreciate them. You look at your weaknesses and you acknowledge them. You look at the habits that help you and the habits that slow you down. You look at the emotions that guide you and the ones that distract you. When you understand yourself, you gain the power to shape yourself. Growth doesn't happen by pretending. It happens by facing your truth and choosing to improve it piece by piece. Becoming the person your dream requires is not about being perfect. Perfection is unreachable, but consistency is available to everyone. You start by making small improvements. You speak to yourself with more responsibility. You treat your commitments with greater care. You push through moments where old patterns used to pull you back. You adjust your behavior so that it supports your goals instead of fighting them. You focus on progress, not shortcuts. Each day becomes an opportunity to build new layers of strength that will support the life you're working toward. There will be days when you feel uncertain about your ability to change. That's normal. Growth is not a smooth experience. It has moments of doubt, moments of confusion, and moments where the old version of you tries to pull you back because it feels familiar. But you don't need to fear that discomfort. That discomfort is proof that you're stepping into new territory. It means you're separating from the habits that kept you still. It means you're outgrowing the smaller version of yourself. And once you understand that discomfort is part of the process, it stops scaring you and starts motivating you. Your dream needs a person who is prepared, not someone who hopes everything will work out without effort. Preparation happens in the small things you do each day. It's how you treat your responsibilities. It's how you respond to challenges. It's how you handle pressure. It's how you manage your emotions when things don't go as planned. You train yourself through your daily choices. Every time you choose discipline over delay, you strengthen your character. Every time you push through resistance, you expand your capacity. Every time you decide to stay focused, you sharpen your mind. All of this creates the foundation needed to support the weight of your dreams. You also begin to notice how your thinking changes as you grow. You start seeing opportunities where you once saw problems. You begin to believe in your ability to overcome situations that once overwhelmed you. You stop running from hard tasks because you know they build the muscles you need. You start welcoming routines that used to feel boring because you finally understand their purpose. When your mind grows, your world grows with it. Your decisions improve. Your patience strengthens. Your confidence becomes more stable because it's backed by real progress, not shallow hope. As you become the person your dream requires, you naturally attract situations and people that match your new level. You stop accepting low-effort environments. You stop giving energy to conversations that don't align with your goals. You value your time more. You choose people who challenge you in healthy ways, people who push you toward your best qualities. You no longer fit into the places where you once settled because you've outgrown them. Growth always leads you to a different environment, one that supports your new direction. There will be moments when you look back at your old self and feel surprised by how far you've traveled. You'll notice how your reactions have matured. You'll see how your old excuses no longer control you. You'll feel proud of the way you handle situations that once drained you. This transformation doesn't happen suddenly. It builds slowly, quietly, consistently. And before you know it, you've become someone who can hold the dream without breaking under the pressure of it. A dream is not just a picture of the future. It's a guide that shows you who you need to become. Each step you take in your growth prepares you for responsibilities you haven't met yet. Each improvement shapes the strength you'll need. As you rise into this new version of yourself, you realize that the person you used to be could not handle the life you're working toward. But the person you're becoming can. And that realization fills you with a calm sense of power. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady and real. The more you grow, the more your dream starts to feel possible. You begin to understand that success is not a sudden event. It's a gradual process of shaping yourself through choices that support your future. You take pride in the growth you've earned. You feel clearer about your direction. You feel more prepared for challenges. You feel stronger inside. And little by little, you become the kind of person who not only reaches their dream, but can maintain it, protect it, and build on it. Your dream is waiting for you, not as you are, but as you can become. And every day you choose to grow, you step closer to meeting the version of yourself who is ready to live that dream fully, with confidence, with strength, and with the steady belief that you earned it through the person you became. Part 4, your circle shapes your future. There comes a point in life when you look around and realize how much the people close to you shape the way you think, the way you behave, and the way you move toward your future. It doesn't matter how strong your goals are if you keep surrounding yourself with voices that weaken your focus. It doesn't matter how much potential you have if you keep spending your time around people who hold on to every limitation they've ever believed. A person becomes influenced by the energy they allow near them, and most people never stop long enough to notice how much their circle directs their decisions. You can have a strong mind, but if your circle encourages the behavior that keeps you stuck, you will feel that pull every single day. Your circle should not pull you backward or freeze you in place. It should support the part of you that wants to rise, improve, and build a better future. When you're around people who value growth, your mind naturally rises with them. You start thinking in a different way. You start speaking in a different way. You feel more responsible for your choices because you're surrounded by people who expect more from themselves and expect more from those around them. They're not perfect, but they're trying. They're working. They're aiming for something stronger. And being around them makes you want to bring your best qualities forward, too. Many people hold on to relationships out of habit. They stay close to people who drain their energy, not because they want to, but because they never question the cost of staying connected to the wrong influences. They don't consider how much time they lose in conversations that go nowhere. They don't realize how much doubt they absorb when someone constantly talks about what can't be done. They don't see how much strength they lose when they listen to negativity over and over again. A circle like that slowly shapes you into someone who doubts themselves, someone who lowers their expectations, someone who forgets what they're capable of. Your future depends on the people who stand around you. If you choose a circle that encourages excuses, you will find yourself repeating the same excuses. If you choose a circle that avoids growth, you will feel guilty for wanting progress. If you choose a circle that avoids responsibility, your own responsibilities will start feeling heavier. But when you choose a circle that values discipline, effort, and improvement, it becomes easier to build those qualities in yourself. You feel supported. You feel challenged in healthy ways. You feel inspired to bring a higher level of effort to your own life. A strong circle helps you think bigger, not in an unrealistic way, but in a practical way that pushes you to grow. They remind you that you can learn more, give more, and become more. They don't let you settle for behavior that keeps you small. They don't celebrate your excuses. They don't encourage your weaknesses. They want you to succeed because they're working on their own success. They understand the value of progress. They understand the importance of steady improvement. And being around them strengthens your belief in what you can do. As you grow, your circle will naturally shift. Some people who fit your old life will not fit your new one. Not because you dislike them, but because the direction of your life changes. You start wanting conversations that build you instead of conversations that drain you. You start wanting people who bring clarity, not confusion. You start wanting people who match your commitment, not people who mock it. This doesn't mean forcing anyone away. It simply means choosing your surroundings with more intention. A future of strength requires a circle that reinforces strength. You will notice that when you distance yourself from unproductive influences, your mind becomes lighter. Your decisions become clearer. You feel more focused because there is less noise around you. You begin to enjoy silence more because your thoughts are no longer tangled with negativity from others. You start to feel a new kind of confidence because you're finally protecting your environment the same way you protect your goals. This is not isolation, it's self-respect. It's the understanding that your life is too important to give away to people who don't value direction. A good circle doesn't need to be large. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need constant attention. It only needs to be made of people who value their own growth and respect yours. Even one or two people like that can change the entire direction of your life. They can support your ideas, challenge your weak areas, remind you of your strengths, and help you stay steady when your motivation drops. They are the kind of people who show you that progress is possible because they are living proof of it. Their presence alone raises your standards without forcing anything on you. You deserve to be around people who treat your goals with seriousness, people who don't laugh at your effort, people who don't question your commitment, people who don't make you feel strange for wanting a better life. When your circle respects your goals, it becomes easier to stay committed. You feel understood. You feel supported. You feel surrounded by people who believe in improvement. That belief strengthens your spirit in ways you might not even notice at first. But over time, you start growing faster because you're no longer fighting against the weight of negative influence. Your future will rise or fall based on the people you keep close. Surround yourself with those who grow, and you will grow. Surround yourself with those who give up, and you will feel tempted to stop trying. Your direction is shaped by your environment. And once you choose a circle that supports your highest potential, you will notice a level of progress you never imagined before. Your effort becomes smoother, your focus becomes stronger, your confidence becomes deeper, because you're no longer walking alone. You're walking with people who want to move forward just as much as you do. Part 5, take action now, not someday. There is a moment when a person finally sees that waiting has done nothing for them. Waiting has not brought new opportunities. Waiting has not built new habits. Waiting has not created the life they picture in their mind. Waiting has only kept everything exactly the same. And when you understand that nothing changes until you act, something shifts inside you. You stop telling yourself that the right time will magically appear. You stop pretending that you need more confidence, more approval, or more signs. You start realizing that the only thing missing is your decision to move. Most people think they need to feel ready before they start anything important. They want courage first. They want clarity first. They want perfect conditions before they make a move. But readiness is not something you wait for. It's something you earn by taking the first step, even when things feel uncertain. Action creates confidence. Action creates direction. And every time you delay, you train your mind to accept hesitation as a normal response. That hesitation grows into a habit, and that habit slowly closes the door on opportunities you may never get back. A person who chooses action begins to understand how powerful small steps can be. You don't need to change your entire life in a single moment. You only need to begin. You make the phone call you've avoided. You start the routine you've talked about. You pick up the work you've been postponing. You follow through on the plan you've been shaping in your mind for months. That single choice begins to break the grip of every excuse you've ever believed. And once you take the first step, the next one becomes easier because you've already proven to yourself that you can move forward even when you feel unsure. Acting now creates momentum. Momentum is what makes progress feel natural instead of forced. When you start taking action, your thoughts stop circling the same old doubts. Your mind becomes focused on solutions instead of problems. Your energy becomes stronger because you're no longer stuck in that heavy feeling that comes from doing nothing. Doing nothing drains a person more than effort ever could. Action sharpens you. It wakes you up. It brings life back into your days because you're finally moving towards something instead of sitting in the same place. Many people carry dreams that never come alive because they keep waiting for a day when everything feels comfortable. But comfort is not what builds a future. The people who succeed are the ones who take action even with shaky hands. They start before they feel fully prepared. They learn as they move. They adapt. They grow. They make mistakes, but those mistakes teach them far more than standing still ever could. Action brings experience. Experience brings wisdom. Wisdom brings better decisions. And better decisions bring the results you've been hoping for. There will always be reasons to put things off. There will always be responsibilities, worries, and moments that feel too busy. But if you allow those reasons to control you, you'll look back one day and realize you spent more time waiting than living. Action is the cure for regret. When you act, you give yourself a chance to build a life you're proud of. When you act, you give yourself the chance to look at your future with excitement instead of fear. When you act, You break the cycle of waiting that has kept so many people stuck in the same patterns year after year. People sometimes think action requires a huge burst of motivation, but it doesn't. It requires honesty. It requires deciding that your future matters more than your excuses. It requires taking one step today instead of telling yourself you'll do it later. Later is the most dangerous word a person can use. Later has destroyed more dreams than failure ever has. Action wins because it moves you from thought to reality. Every time you choose to act now, you build strength. You build courage. You build belief, and that belief grows with each step you take. As you begin acting consistently, you'll notice something powerful. Your fears start shrinking. Your doubts lose their grip. Your energy is controlled. You start trusting yourself more because you have proof, not hope, not theory, but proof that you can take action even when it feels uncomfortable. That proof builds a confidence that stays with you, a confidence that becomes part of who you are. You no longer feel controlled by hesitation because you've created a habit of movement. The future you want is shaped by the actions you take today, not the actions you plan to take someday, not the actions you talk about, only the actions you commit to in this moment. When you act now, you open doors you didn't see before. You meet people you wouldn't have met. You learn skills you didn't know you needed. You gain experience you couldn't have predicted. Action reveals your path in ways that planning alone never can. Planning is useful, but action is what makes your life change. Someday is not a real day. It doesn't appear on a calendar. It never arrives. But today is real. Today is in your hands. Today is your chance to do something meaningful for your future. When you act today, you create the possibility of a stronger tomorrow. You build momentum. You build character. You build a life that reflects your decisions, not your delays. And once you get used to acting now, you'll feel a new kind of pride, a pride that comes from knowing you didn't wait for life to push you. You moved on your own. Everything you've heard today comes down to one simple truth. Your life won't change until you get serious about it. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when it feels convenient. Change begins with a decision, a commitment, and consistent action. You have everything you need inside you right now. You have the power to step up, to raise your standards, to grow into the person your dreams require, to surround yourself with the right people, and to take action without delay. The difference between a life that feels ordinary and one that feels extraordinary is the moment you decide that your goals matter more than your excuses. You've been given another day, another chance to move forward. Don't waste it by waiting for someone else to motivate you or for circumstances to align perfectly. Take responsibility. Act, build momentum. Every small step you take now compounds into progress you can't yet imagine. Every time you follow through, you grow stronger. Every time you refuse to let hesitation control you, you get closer to the life you've been dreaming about. The person you want to become is waiting on the other side of your action. Your future doesn't care about how many times you failed or how much doubt you feel. It only cares that you begin, that you keep moving, and that you refuse to settle for anything less than your best. Your dreams are real, and your potential is waiting for you to step into it fully. Decide today that you are done waiting. Decide today that you are going to show up fully committed, fully focused, and fully serious about creating the life you deserve. Nothing will change until you do. The moment you choose action, the moment you embrace responsibility, your life shifts forever. Your story is in your hands, and the next chapter starts now. Go take that step. Don't look back. Move forward. Your life is waiting, and it will reward the person who refuses to settle, who refuses to wait, and who decides today to get serious about living it fully.